Murphy Austin Adams Schoenfeld LLP, focusing on business law and commercial litigation, is proud to support Rob on the Road, Region Rising. More information available at murphyaustin.com.
On Rob at Home, the rising need of serving Sacramento area seniors. Meals on Wheels Executive Director Kevin McAllister is my guest and shares how Meals on Wheels delivers 50,000 meals a week and growing. Hear how Meals on Wheels brings much more than just food and how a team of 500 volunteers answers the call one meal at a time. Kevin McAllister joins me next on Rob at Home.
And now, Rob on the Road, exploring Northern California.
I'm so thrilled to have Kevin McAllister joining us here on Rob at Home. Kevin is the Executive Director of Meals on Wheels Sacramento. It's great to see you, Kevin.
Great to see you too.
So glad to have you here. And I have to tell you, I've seen your work and your name popping up in things across Sacramento. You were just featured in Comstock's magazine as sort of one to watch, which I think is great. And I just have to say that your service that you do at Meals on Wheels is more important, I would say, than ever after we have been through such extreme crisis with the pandemic. First of all, is that right? Is your need growing?
Yes, it is growing. Prior to the start of the pandemic, we were serving roughly, let's say, 1,600 people a day. And once the pandemic hit, we were serving over 3,000 people a day.
Wow, you doubled.
Doubled in size. It was pretty crazy.
So as many places shuttered during the pandemic, you had to double your services. And as an executive director, that responsibility falls on you.
Absolutely.
How did you do that?
I have a fantastic team, really. We came together, the community came together to really support us. So at the start of the pandemic, we had over 20 sites where seniors could go for meals. And then we had to shut those all down and then start delivering to their homes. So in addition to our other program for home delivered, our home delivered meal program, which serves homebound seniors. So we were driving all over the county, but we had support. The first 2 weeks of the pandemic, when things shut down, law enforcement joined us to deliver meals, firefighters, paramedics, the National Guard. So it was awesome to have that type of support from the community.
You saw so much need during that time, and I want to get to the feedback on that need in a minute. But where did you get all the food just like that overnight? How do you grow? How do you double? Did you have to lean on restaurants?
We did lean on restaurants, and we leaned on our primary vendor. So we started preparing for COVID and the shutdown in around January. So we started ordering supplies in advance. So frozen meals, and also we started making shelf-stable meal boxes. So at the start of the pandemic, we had over, I think, 3 apartment complexes downtown specifically for the senior community. And so the community meals program came together, which involved over 5 or 6 local restaurants to prepare meals daily for those seniors. So we had Mulvaney's, Benchoyaki, Cannon, and a host of other restaurants that were preparing the meals.
That's good food.
Oh, great food, right? And we also, leaned on one of our vendors that prepares frozen meals for us. So we stocked up on meals pretty early on. Probably in mid-January, we started getting more meals, getting shelf-stable meals as well to prepare.
So when you would see in your volunteers, people who stepped up to the plate to deliver, you would see need. First of all, you've already seen need that other people typically do not see, because you're seeing people who are often alone. And then with the pandemic, you're seeing the people who would come to the community locations have to stay home. So then they're newly isolated. You saw a lot of a lot of heartache, but you also saw a lot of good. Can you tell me some stories about encounters that you know of with people?
Yeah, our participants were so happy to see us daily. They weren't able to see their own families at that time. We didn't know a lot at the start of the pandemic. So, people that were already isolated were even more isolated. But our drivers continued to go out, visit with them, of course, socially distanced, and to check in on them. And that's really what our program is about. It's about building those relationships. Food is a part of it, but it really is about the friendships that our drivers and our volunteers develop. They're like family. Mm-hmm. And it was so funny at the start of the pandemic. We actually did shut down for a couple of weeks. We made double, triple deliveries so that all of our seniors had meals, and then we took a step back to see, okay, so how will we continue to do this and meet the need? And one of my drivers came to me and said, "What is my participant supposed to do on garbage day?" I take out her garbage. I just sat there and was like, wow. And then another driver said, well, I open, jars for one of my participants because it's really hard for her to open jars. And so I really got to hear so much more about the relationships that, our team members have with the participants that we serve. And it was, they appreciated us being there and making calls daily to check in on them and make sure that they had what they needed. It was really challenging at the beginning. Remember, we didn't even have toilet paper. So we had a lot of participants calling us saying, hey, I couldn't make it to the store and everything is gone. Mm-hmm. Can you bring me toilet paper? And we did.
Let me ask you this. We talk about need. What are the needs today of Meals on Wheels Sacramento? What do you need from the community?
We need a lot more delivery drivers to support our organization. At the start of the pandemic, we lost a lot of our volunteers because most of our volunteers are 65 and above. And so again, we had to make a shift and ask them to stay home because they were, most at risk of severe illness from COVID. And so that's when we lost a lot. And some are coming back. We're very fortunate to have a lot of those team members back, but we need more.
Is it volunteer or paid?
Volunteer. Okay. So with all of our, we have volunteer drivers and we have our paid drivers, but with our volunteer drivers, we actually offer mileage reimbursement. Mm-hmm. And that's something we've always done, but it's even more important now as, gas is $7 a gallon.
Yeah. And that, of course, is having a ripple effect on all things, including food costs. How are you able to financially make Meals on Wheels work? Do the clients and recipients pay? Do all the clients pay for the meals?
So all of our meals are free. We do ask for a suggested contribution of $3 mm-hmm. From our participants. However, most of our funds come from federal, state dollars, and also we fundraise a lot. Mm-hmm. And so that is how we're able to continue providing meals, is through our fundraising efforts. I mean, alone this year, our food costs have tripled. And so we need to fundraise more than ever.
When someone, you say there's a suggested donation, if you will, if someone cannot make that, you still feed them?
Absolutely.
What is the criteria?
So for both of our programs, it's different. For the congregate nutrition program, they just need to be 60 and better. We say better instead of older. So 60 and better.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And for the home delivered meal program, which is for our more frail homebound participants, is 60 and better as well. But they're essentially assessed by our caseworkers to determine if they're a good fit for that program or if they're a better fit for our congregate nutrition program. And then we have a third program, which is called Dishes. And that is the program that came out of COVID, honestly. That's our restaurant meal program. and a voucher program for seniors 60 and above as well. And that one has been so much fun because, you know, I feel like part of my role is not only to provide meals and, you know, to seniors and for our staff to make those, you know, friendly visits, but it's to also support Sacramento County and rebuilding after COVID. And so by partnering with different restaurants, we're supporting our local economy. And that's something that I believe in.
Tell me about the vouchers. So people get vouchers to go to restaurants?
Yes. So it's on a card, it's a card, and we reload the card every month. And some get I think it's about 5 meals a week that they get. And so we work with Drewski's Hot Rod Kitchen for that program, Burger IM, Cafe Elk Grove, and a few other.
They're all great.
Yeah.
All great. Absolutely. Let me ask you this. We were talking about, you know, what it takes, the criteria. Is there any need for financial proof?
None. Wow. None at all. Right? Isn't that great? And that's one of the challenges with our program is educating the community on our programs and services and letting them know that this is a benefit. It's not, you don't need to show proof of income. Essentially, you don't even need to show proof of age. I mean, we don't turn people away.
Well, here's your chance then. If one of your biggest challenges is educating the community, have at it. What do you want people to know about Meals on Wheels? Run through it.
All right. I want everyone to know that Meals on Wheels is a free program for all seniors 60 and better in Sacramento County, whether it's for the congregate nutrition program, dishes program, or the home delivered meal program. There's something for everyone.
Amazing. That's amazing. Let me ask you, you mentioned 60 and better. So you're talking about